about the Hebrew word olah,
Mm-hmm.
which is the burnt offering, which is then connected, which actually connected to the aleph, which is then basically means the manifestation. And I'm just wondering, what about the other four offering that mentioned, like the minka, the katat? I mean, is there any significance to the other four?
There are different kinds of thank you for the questions. There are different kinds of offering, yes. Each one is symbolizing, like, let's say, an outline or relation. Yes. Yes, Olah has to do this as a burnt offering. Yes, and Olah with Vav, it's like the value is 111.
Yeah,
Yes, yes. Like Aleph, if you write the letter Aleph with its filling, Aleph is 1, Lamed is 30, and Pe, final Pe, as 80, it is 111. So it's completely burnt offering. It's like completely, in a way, destruction of the matter. There's no matter anymore. And this is Korban Olah. This is to unite with the infinite, so to speak, through burning. Yes? Yes, and you notice there's Olah. According to, it's interesting because you open a very interesting topic. You say there's Olah as offering, burnt offering, and there are other four that you noticed. Yes? So
yeah,
you see there's a 1 and 4. 1 to 4, like Weinreb says in his book, Counting until 4. So 1, which is the Aleph, and other 4. Yes?
yeah,
There's a lot of order in all of this. It's kind of a different take to look at it in this, but there's a way to look at the Bible through this lens, and it's like, we were mentioning this site. It speaks about weather forecast, windy.com, that gives you different filters to look at the map. So there's a filter of temperature, there's a filter of wind, there's a filter of waves. So also you can read the Bible through many, many filters, and what Weinreb does is really a unique, very, very unique lens. Yes.
but he doesn't go to the like what the other four um what does it?
It's like to go on details. It's like, if you look at it not in, how do you say, through the detail. If you just look at the general sketch of things, it is like Jacob and 4 wives, like that. Yes, or 4 seasons. You can look at the wives not as like ladies, but 4 seasons. So at the same manner, there's a burnt offering, Ulah, and there are other types of sacrificing, like 4 seasons, because it's the same pattern of 1 to 4, like thumb and 4 fingers. What you can see in a great model, you can also see in the details. So you can see it all over the place. Usually people look at the story, at the biblical story. They look at it, first of all, as a story, yes? So they look at it as there's a Jacob, there's a man and 4 wives, and just today there's monogamy and so. But what happens if you don't look at it through a story? Like men and ladies and so, men and 4 wives. So you can see something completely different. You can see infinite with 4 seasons. And those 4 seasons deliver together 12 months. So it's a completely different lens. So those who would like to look at it as stories or happenings or chit chat between Jacob and Rachel, Jacob and Leah, will look at it through the lens of, let's say, telenovela. Also, you can take the text and modify. This is what people do in many movies. They take the same themes, they put like characters of our times. Sometimes even they keep the same names and they keep running the show. But there's another way to look, yes, into the text, but not through personal story, but something beyond, through through the flute, which is called Jacob, through the flute, which is called Rachel, yes, through the flute, which is called Leah. Because no one has the ability to act on his own or on her own. We are being, in a way, orchestrated. We don't like to see that, or we would not like to see that we are orchestrated by higher power. But this is what is happening. We don't like to see ourselves, yes, as being, how do you say, directed by higher power. But this is what it is. A few days ago, we were trying to access a certain place. It was impossible to access. Few days just move on and everything was open. So if you return from this experience of this couple of days before today, it was impossible to access, and people think, oh, what happened? Why it was so hectic? It was not possible to go through. And suddenly today everything is open and the road is open for those who are in the space, and everything is just rolling without any obstacles. So how was it? Wasn't it possible a couple of days ago, and today it was possible? And it went through the way life are leading us. Because sometimes there's idea coming, we think, at this point we don't think those ideas are ours, yes? But you go through to be somewhere in the city and you try something and it doesn't work. And you accept it. It doesn't work. Probably it should not be happening in this way. And then a week passes, and then you try again, and suddenly everything opens and works better and more than you could even wish for. Because we are not the doers. We aren't. If we are really honest with what is happening, we can see that nothing which is happening is due to our choices or our ability to act. So when there's, let's say a day which nothing is going on, it's not because this is due to our, misfortune. And when it's going the way it's more than we expected, it's not because we have certain virtue, because this is how it goes. In both ways, we are cancelled out of the game. It is just life moving through us. Even when it's negation and there's like traffic jam and you cannot get access to, it is directed that it is impossible to go through. And then after a couple of days, everything is open, and it is, because it's open, you are being exposed to more possibilities. And life are leading. This is not, there is no doubt in it even. There is no doubt about it. And this is a great relief, because we are not responsible for what is happening. We are not. We are not in charge. We are not in charge for the sun, yes, to burn and to deliver such a high temperature, in the summer or in the winter. I hope the weather is better in Brazil those days, Fernando. We are not in charge of the rain. We are not. And this is a great relief, because why to worry? Nothing is in our hands, not the temperatures, not the movement of the waves, the electricity, the water stream, nothing. So why to worry? If something is not going, so it's supposed not to happen. Good to hear, Fernando, that you have a break of the cold weather. If it doesn't work, it is not supposed to happen. And many, many times we feel sorry it did not happen, and because it should not happen. And when it is happening as it is for the best. In a divine timing, because it's the best. And this is it. And more than this is just, sit in the shade, or if it's the winter, sit next to the fireside. Nothing to worry about. Yes, how can we have any responsibility? For the law is something else. If someone does not pick his child from the kindergarten, and the child is waiting many hours and there's nobody's in charge, and the law will do something with it, but in real, nobody has a responsibility. How can any human be responsible for the movement of the planets, for the rain, portions of water? How did you find, look in your mind, can you find human which is in charge or responsible for tsunami, for earthquakes, for volcanoes? Who's in charge? Who's in charge? Who can we blame in earthquake? There was a great earthquake. I don't know, it was winter 23, around Feb. There was like series of hundreds of, there were very big ones, and there was like sequences of more little ones all this winter. So, and people in Turkey, many people perished because it happened at 3 o'clock in the morning, and people were sleeping in their beds. We were escaping the building at 3 o'clock, running on foot. But it happened. So whom you can complain to about this? Such a power, if you experience earthquake for like in a high level, yes, it is such a power that no mankind can build something against it. It is such a strong movement. When in Israel they build, in the Middle East, also in Italy, they build usually the kitchen, and the surface, yes, above the cabinets is from marble. This is how, because it's like warm area, so the surface is not from wood. In some European countries it's from wood, or sometimes aluminum. It is from marble, it's from stone. It is injected into the wall. And when the earthquake happened, I was standing in the kitchen, and the instinct, yes, is to hold something stable, like this marble that, like it's like a wall, yes, and it just moved. Everything moved, and until it just, you try and you see that everything is liquid. The building was liquid. The cabin, everything moved. The floor was liquid. We used to have a plant here inside doors called Chaflera. Yes, it just moved like that. And at some point, your fingers, yes, they let the grip. You open your palms. You held like something which the mind or the brain tells you it's a stone, it's a marble, it's a mountain. At some point, you understand it's like water. So you cannot hold water, and you just drip on the floor like a drop of water, and you close yourself like in a fetus position on the floor. You become a little drop of water inside of invisible womb, and just nothing is stable, nothing is rigid, nothing is solid. This is who, if you are in this experience, how can you, this is such a power that, you know, this is interesting because we had this experience of ballistic missiles that you feel somebody's going to get you personally, yes, because it's direct to kill people on certain place. But such a power of earthquake starts here, Turkey, Greece, all this area, millions of people. And this is only a bit of the power, a fraction of the power. Whom can we blame? Who is responsible? Yes. Millions of people in Turkey. It was really, really hard because they don't have any protection. It was night and so on. Many people just disappeared at 3 o'clock in the morning when everything was melting. Of course, this is not, and when it happened, you notice it's not particularly against me. We saw already people in 3 o'clock in the morning and at the court, some were standing with blankets already, with bottle of water. People were just, what? Yes. So, and this is quite interesting because even if a ballistic missile is landing next to you, so there's a shock. It's not pleasant. I don't wish for anyone to experience that. But the building is still standing. But in an earthquake, what you thought in the mind, which is stable, it's not. It's just water. It's just water, and you run outside of these shaky waters to be in an open area as much as possible, that nothing will just, melt and fall on you, those buildings and whatever, not to use the elevators, of course, only open spaces. And this is a very, very good, and if you ask me, ballistic missiles is not pleasant to be next to when it's falling or when it's like whistling in the air. But this is man-made engineer facility to kill other men, human beings. This is engineered by man. It's very directed. It's not nice, but you cannot equivalent this power of destruction to the shock or to the power of earthquake. This is something completely different. Because when after the ballistic missiles is just, and there's a relax, there's like 30, 40 minutes you have to wait, and then you go out, there are trees, and nothing. Everything, there isn't. So, and this is a very good exercise, earthquake, to non-duality. We presume that a building from bricks and from concrete is very solid. And the kitchen is, you can sense it with the fingers, cabinets, and suddenly it's not. And it's not. You cannot hold it, it just moves. Yes, through a stormy water, everything just moves. You cannot hold anything, you cannot stand, you cannot sit, nothing. So what we perceive as very solid, so to speak, reality, I see it, I feel it, I can call it in name, suddenly it's not. We presume that this is existing, and suddenly comes earthquake and it's not. Just to give you an example, yesterday evening, there was a message that one of the Israelis actors, he used to play in many American movies, yes? He used to work with many famous directors. He passed away. It was a surprise to everyone. He was on the shore yesterday, and there was very hot condition, there's a heat wave, and he just collapsed. And they didn't manage to deliver help because it was not accessible shore, and he just passed away. And And people were shocked that he died because it was nothing, he did not show any previous signs. Yes. And he passed away. And specifically for known people, for actors that you see them on the movies, in the big screens, and they're just immortals, they're God, you see them in the cinema, what is this powerful? And suddenly he's gone. In 1 second, he's gone. And we see, let's say, it doesn't matter if it's an actor now or man or woman, we see there's someone walking, or there's walking, sitting, it's existing. No, it's being animated. But the source of life does not come from the body. And once the source of life, we call it a drop, disconnects itself from the body just lie down on the sand. So to speak, the drop, consciousness or awareness, just stops its identity with the body is left. And there's just nothing has been lost. We perceive, and people were shocked that it is, but everyone who is being born, so to speak, supposed to disappear, but still there's a great shock. What really happened is this drop disconnected itself from the body, and the body has no vital power of its own. The body is being animated by higher power, higher source. And when this source just drops the body, disconnects the body, or its identity with the body is just left. And this is what happened. And still people are in shock. When somebody dies, everyone is in shock. Yes. We call it death. It's just a disconnection with identity. Yes. Any questions? Yanis, Fernando, Abigail? This is what Ramana Maharshi says. There is a presupposing of not existing thing. The body does not exist. It is being animated by higher power. Why sometimes there's the term of silent birth. You know, many ladies, women are going through this process of silent birth. The baby comes out, but without a breath. There is no the baby or the baby's body is not being animated by higher power. Yes? Fernando, any questions? Abigail, any question? Abigail is writing, yes, just as God is seemed as generator of higher power, yes, animates us. Yes. Yes, Fernando, we can claim that from the unique reality, we have other realities such as psychological and physical. Again, Fernando, can you please explain your question? I shall be really, really delighted to hear your question. What do you mean by that? Yes.
So, British. Can you hear
Hello.
me?
Yes, we can. How do you do?
I'm fine. I think that you can see in my voice that I'm passing through some kind of flu or something, but
Yes, a cold. Did you get a
no,
cold?
a
Yes.
cold, yes.
Yes.
But the weather is shifting all the time, so it brings this kind of allergy or something, maybe. But the idea is when we look through the non-duality, it is like a metaphysical truth, right? It is in the realm of metaphysics, let's say. And I was thinking about the when you leave this realm of metaphysics, when you are not in touch with it, it seems that we have another realms of reality, just like the psychological reality and the physical reality. There is no two, but if I am receiving an aggression, I will say that there is me and there is the other. And in the psychological realm, we feel this identity, even knowing that the ego is temporal and so on and so forth. We still feel the need to produce things, to manifest ideas, to write poetry, to relate with others, to love. Sometimes we feel grief. So this is also a reality somehow, And I was thinking that it's not easy, to approach this non-dualistic point of view with love, let's say, to love the non-dual. It's not. I don't know how to express this. It
Yes.
is.
I,
But
uh,
I'm trying to understand yet. I'm
yes.
formulating in my mind, but just bringing these ideas in.
It's a good question. When you mention, let's say, psychology and other physical dimensions, also, yes, it's like you can approach different the topics through different rooms, but it will be to change rooms in the Titanics. Yes, yes. So you can look into one topic through the lens of psychology or physical, yes. But from which door or an axis or any field that you will try to approach, it will be like change rooms in the Titanic. What do I mean by this? When the Titanic, this great ship, is, you heard it about, I believe people have heard the Titanic was sinking in the water. So when a big boat or ship is sinking in the water, it doesn't matter when people are changing the rooms in the great ship, because the destiny of this ship is to drown. So it's like to play tricks with the mind. Yes. So to look into any kind of a topic through those lenses, it is still will be to battle from a point of view, whether it's psychology or physical or scientific. Choose any realm that you want. Any realm that you will choose, it will be like Jacob battling, just to speak in symbolic manner, is any entry that you will take, any filter, it will be still battling, because it's a manifestation. Yes, and in the manifestation you have at least two. So whatever gate that you will choose, it will still be a battle. It is like changing rooms in the Titanic. And you can also take the Zohar perspective or Ramana Maharshi, which they take the same perspective. Yes, who is experience? Mi bara ele, like quoting Isaiah. Carry your eyes to the heavens and see who created these. who is asking this question. Is there a solid me? There is a beautiful text here that we posted. We, yes, look into reality, into the world, yes, in a very linear way. We look at the appearance of a body. It doesn't matter if it's a kitten, it's a puppy, or a human baby. We look at the birth like if it's point A, entry point, and we believe there's going to be a duration of life, of years to this body mind, and at the end, when it's death, this is point B, and between A, the birth, and death, everything is in brackets. There's a line, yes, and this is the life of this ex-person, call it John. And John is a very solid entity. There is a story, there's a parents, there's a location, there's a career. It's a very solid entity. This is how people look at life. There's appearance point. Something happens to this life. There's name, story, more and more details are being added. And everything's supposed to go great for this figure. He's supposed to win. He's supposed to, I don't know, buy houses, win the lottery. He's supposed to be hero. His wife's supposed to be Miss Beauty. I don't know what people have in their mind. Yes. And there's when somebody dies, he made a mark. Yes. And so, but it's not like that. So whenever you look, Fernando, from, so excuse me, I need to drink water. Whenever you need to look at this from any other window that you mention, it's from the window of duality. And it's more battling. The only way to look at life through non-battling door is this non-linear. And questioning the birth and the death, those two eyes, lens that we have. We don't need to understand, Yanis. This is far, far beyond the brain ability, yes, to process. And this is the great thing about this, because the truth does not need the brain to process it. When the brain processes data, it will always come awkward, and it will come about me, which is a non-existing thing. So in a way, the message crosses the brain, crosses the rational mind, so to speak. Yes, yes. So the non-battle, I would not say even way, but the non-battle lens is just to question if there's a birth and there's a death, and if there's no birth and no death, what is happening, so to speak, if happens between those points. But also those points are imaginary points, Fernando. Those are imaginary points because they are visible to the eyes.
So, just a metaphoric example, we could say that it is just like a game. If we are playing cards, let's say, we know that the rules were made somehow in an arbitrary form, and just like soccer and other games. But the one who knows that it is just a game. Many people enter in this and believes that is true, you know. I can see even in friends, let's say,
It's not true.
which player
Yes, it's.
is better, and so it's all arbitrary, you know. It was made by the mind,
Can you hear?
right?
Can you hear
Can you hear
Fernando?
me?
Fernando, Fernando. No, it. disconnects. We hear just
Okay.
few words here and there. We don't hear the.
I'm sorry, Ed. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, yes, now, yes.
Okay. No, I was just saying that we could
Can
look
you?
at
Yes.
it just like a metaphor about a game. People look at sports as something quite real. People kill and die for
Can you hear?
sports, you
Yeah.
know. Oh, I'm sorry, Ed.
I can you hear Yanis? Abigail, can you hear Fernando? Can anybody hear Fernando?
Eti? Hello?
Yes, now it's better.
Is
Yes,
better?
now it's
Okay.
better.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes, thank you. It's okay.
No, I was just saying that we can look at it just like a game. If we know that is arbitrary, we can play cards or play chess, knowing that someone once made the rules and it's a fictional rule that the queen can move there and the bishop moves in another way. But in our hearts, we know that it's just a game, right? But for many people, the game is all, like people can kill for sports or can die for a football team or soccer team and so on. But we know that is not true. And life most of the time is just like this game. The problem is that when we cannot see
It
what
is
is true
good
and what is
to
false, you know what? Just one point, if you can hear me, it made me remember what one Freud sentences that he said, the price of civilization is neurosis. And what it is neurosis? Neurosis is when one is living a lie, let's say, is suffering for something that
can
is not actual. Just some ideas.
life, you can look at it as game. There is no in a way, how shall I say, motivation to be invested. Yes, to be invested. You come, yes, say to work on time or to the office, you do what you do. And who knows what happens? We cannot calculate the effect. We can only be present in the moment. And this is it. What acts through our emptiness at the moment? What acts through our emptiness in the moment is incomprehensible. So people can sit in salons and they can go to retreats to speak, but this is what comes in the moment. Yes. Yes, but what comes through us, like you say, Fernando, what comes through the emptiness. What comes is not because, yes, what comes in the moment is not because you are associated with the name. What comes in the moment is life. It has nothing to do with the name or the story that we tell ourselves. The brain has the ability to manufacture bondage to the story which is called self or me. Yes? Just let it stream through you. Anyways, life is streaming through us. Just this is not our act. The act is not on our account, but on the infinite account. Yes? Yes. There is no there's nothing that we are doing. Yes, it goes through us. We don't need to even give consent. It just happens. We don't give consent to breath. It just happens through us, and heart pulping, and so other things as well. Processings of souls and all kinds of, let's say, inside physical, yes, body processing, and everything is just happens. But the story that the brain narrates around us as names is related to a body which appears and disappears. This is the suffering. Life is just happening regardless of our consent or decisions. We are not even making decisions. It just happens through us. It's being accepted before our consent. There isn't any consent anyway. Just accept it, Fernando. Yes, people who participate here, yes, some of them are parents. Yes, so there's a parenting going through the life, but there is no, don't take it as, it just happens. It just happens. And everything will happen naturally. Anyways, life is so big that I'm bypassing the uni process of one man's brain. Life is big, infinite. Yes, and the brain is a finite. And always has anxiety about what? About the brain as a finite, because it knows it's finite. So it always has anxiety. And if the brain will attach to it a name and a body, and then you have the story of suffering. It's very simple. This is very, very simple. Yes, just don't identify. Yesterday there was a very, very, very hot day. Very hot day. Extreme heat wave, and we were outside. It was really, really not. You think sometimes the brain tells you this the last moment or so. It was like, and we came home. And in the evening, we heard about a man. He was standing also on the shore, and he was like in a glamping. Like there's tents on the shore in the summer. He just passed. So you see. So when is the threat? There is a threat. Let's say extreme conditions. Yes, a cold wave, heat wave, all kinds of extreme conditions. The brain says this is the end, because for the brain there's finite. Like you buy a product in the supermarket, it has expiring date. So the brain knows that there is expiring date. This is why the brain is always has this defense mechanism, wants to protect itself from the finitum, which is already decided. But we are not the brain, and we are not the body, and we are not the name. It is through the process of education that we learn to associate ourselves with the name, with the body, with the story, and this is the bondage of self. But once you question the birth and the death, you question, it's up for question. It's not for certain. We used to once visit Germany, and a little town next to Frankfurt, and visiting friends, and then there's a notice of like suddenly there's a graveyard, and what attracts the people attention, there's the how do you say, the letters on the stones in the graveyards were in Hebrew, and it was like from the 12th century, 11th century, 1,000 years that people lived here, died here. There's also like Hebrew letters in the graveyard. So wow, it's very ancient. The Hebrew, so to speak, used to live in Germany. They called him Jewish or so, and people look at the graveyard. And usually people in any language, they let few letters tell a story. He was born in this year, son of this and that, lived his life, passed in this, or the lady was born, and people, there are people who goes to cemeteries and read the letters and the stories, and since it's written on the stone, and since under the stone there's also, let's say, bones, a coffin, cascades, or so, a grave, and this is an evidence. So people look at the material evidence, but once you question it, the infinity, this is a completely different lens. So people look, and here's the story that people like. Oh, this is how it goes, the bondage of self. Since I can read the brain, since I can understand, since there's a birth and there's a death, there's a story of someone who used to, and this is it, this is finite, this is an absolute truth. And what the Hebrew says, and this is the first video that we did, what the Hebrew says, what is truth? The undead, emet. What is emet? What is emet? Aleph, dash, met. Immortal. Met is dead. Aleph, emet, immortal. So this is the truth. But how the English says, but it's written in the stone, not the tablets of Moses. You go to every graveyard in any language, French or German or English, Swedish, it's written in the stone. Have you questioned this? This is a completely different story, or non-story, I would say. So, beloved one, thank you for your friendship. Thank you for being here with us. We wish Fernando a very good healing from the cold. And Abigail, thank you for being here with us. And Yanis as well, and feel well. And Fernando, get a good weather next to you, and it will move maybe with a bit of honey. Your voice get better, and you get warm a bit in the chest. Yes. And thank you, great friend Abigail, great friend Yanis, and listeners, and Fernando. Feel good, all of you. And see you tomorrow at the same time if you have the time. Yes, cup of tea with honey. Yes, and you feel good. Yes. Thank you, Abigail. Thank you, love. See you soon.